One thing I don't think was particularly accessible in one of my classes was professors requiring us to take notes one way or the other. I think giving students the option to take notes whichever way they want would be more accessible.
I had another class that basically discourages you from emailing them about simple questions.
We were required to watch a lecture video, however, we weren't allowed to fast forward or rewind or pause, so the video would keep going, and if you missed something, it was really difficult to understand what was going on.
You would enter the class and all their content would be on multiple different websites, sometimes as much as 3, and one or all of them would not have any notifications, which would lead to a lot of frustrations about missing assignments or seeing it last minute.
And teachers don't let you choose the speed of the videos that you watch because some students need a little bit more time to comprehend what the lecturers are saying. So I feel like if all instructors let students choose the paces of their videos, it would be beneficial to them.
When classrooms and spaces with teachers and students help to use inclusive language and kind of consider that different students have different identities and different needs and might not fit neatly into binary boxes or cisgender and heterosexual boxes.
I had a religious observance and an exemption that I could not get course material because it was university property, and I just found this quite unfair because I am a student paying for tuition.
So when I've had classes, majority of them wouldn't necessarily be organized. They'd have a lot of their material on other websites, or they'd have it more or less disorganized across multiple platforms, which really wasn't convenient whatsoever, since I'd have to kind of go out of my way to figure out what I needed to get done.
Some courses was their absence policy, so a lot of classes, if you had to miss for whatever reason, even if it was an emergency, they would give you a drop, but you wouldn't get the lecture content from anywhere.
Something that helped me succeed in a class was live closed captioning. This definitely helped because I was able to focus and look back at the screen if the professor said something that I missed.
When the textbooks had an option to read the material to you, so that when I was learning the material, it just was easier to soak up.
Something that's been helpful for me in my classrooms has been closed captioning because it makes the class easy to follow along.
At the end of weekly lectures, he'll put out a survey asking students to fill out the concepts that were the muddiest or most confusing for them, and it really helps to go through and hear what other kids, sharing the same confusions towards subjects.
Where the testing time and the material on the test is proportional, so there you have enough time to really think about the questions.
Having various access to different types of material, it helps because it takes account for the people that have different learning types.
When everything was streamlined and available for all students, but another thing I liked was captions because I personally like watching videos, but sometimes when I hear the words, it doesn't really process, but when I read it, it works a lot better. So.
Some classes, on the other hand, didn't necessarily put everything on one page or on one site, and it was able to let me get done with my work more effectively, faster, and it allowed me to get done with it within a timely manner.
The ability to choose when I did my final presentation, it made it much more accessible for my schedule, and also made me more confident when presenting.
Took this one class, this professor would have an automatic draw for one of your exams, and then they would double your highest score just in case, because sometimes you have those external circumstances that you can't control.